Previously on Ninjago.
Each video focuses on a different aspect of the project. The universe is destroyed. We can't have any future seasons. Pixel and Skylar are gonna play a role in time, a group that worships time. Anyway, I'm gonna make one set for each ninja. I'm gonna have a ninja vehicle and a side build of a villain vehicle, a base with terrain and stuff going on, and you're gonna be able to put the vehicle on that base. Zane's Frozen Quad Ambush for $40 with Chrono, Zane, Pixel. Unfortunately, I do not have a Pixel minifigure, so I'm just gonna have to use a placeholder until I get to build a minifigure one. With that said, I really struggled on what vehicle to do for Zane. His most common type of vehicle is a jet, so I definitely didn't want to do that because it would be repetitive. Plus, he's the only ninja to have helicopters, so I decided to give another ninja a flying vehicle. There was already a mech and 2 bikes, so we couldn't have another one of those. And I eventually landed on a buggy, which I felt was different enough from a car, though it's still definitely very reminiscent. Then I got an idea. All of these vehicles will have bases for them to stand on. What I did for most of these that you can see on the Lloyd and Jay bikes that I did last month is that the only feature of the stand is to hold up the bikes. So instead of having to make a particularly standout vehicle, the base will instead be the main appeal. So let's get right into this. This is the support system for Zane's car, so let me place it down here. I'm having doubts as to how I should go about these videos. These parts where I'm just kind of building the thing. I don't want it to be drawn out for too long, but I also want to show the process in detail. And also not spoil too much of the build. Like on the Easter egg front, each one of these sets is going to have at least one piece that's referencing one of the ninja. So all of the main 6 will have at least some representation in every set. And at the end of the day, it comes down to you guys if you prefer having these small sections where I kind of talk about the development process of the set, or if you prefer me to just show everything off when it's fully completed. Because I think there is some value in showing part of the building process. But anyway, let's talk about the stand for Zane's Frozen Quad. It's mostly a barren wasteland because I was kind of running out of dark green pieces at this point, but I was trying to capture that feeling of inescapability that Hiroshi's Labyrinth has. More specifically, I wanted to have obstacles, elevations, things that make it difficult for the ninja to navigate their way out of here. Things that help the villains and make the ninja underdogs. Things that make it hard for the ninja to fight back. That make them feel trapped, like here. All of that while still capturing the nature and greenery that Hiroshi's Labyrinth is known for from its appearances in Season 3 and 6. For example, even though there's basically just a rock embedded into the terrain, I still added a patch of dark green tiles and cheese slopes to make it look like some kind of moss, and all of the plant life that is sprinkled around the set. As for elevations, I used this really cool building technique that I learned with the rebrick mat to create this angled rock, and this is going to serve as support for the next section of Zane's car. You might also notice that there's a lot of sand blue and white pieces around this set. That's because Zane's Frozen Quad is actually freezing the terrain all around it. So the vehicle is actually physically impacting the terrain, which is something that I think is very important. This is so it doesn't just feel like a brick with a cavity in the middle for a vehicle. Instead, the integration is a lot more natural. Now let's build the villain section. But first we need a minifigure to go there. So for this Subaru Warrior, a silver stud on the back attachment, a regular face print, make it powered down, grab just any random hairpiece, and throw on the ice essence. Zane had the ice essence, but it was taken away from him by the Subaru Warriors, and now they're trying to escape with it. Zane and Pixel are trying to catch back up. It's very simple and it's not as big as I expected, but since if this was an official LEGO set, it wouldn't even be included. It's basically just a recolor of Sora's flyer from the Ninja Combo vehicle, but I ended up adding this backrest and a little bit more detail to the bottom and front. The reason why there's so much medium azure is because this thing is countering Zane. Here is the rock that this is going to be sitting on, just kind of a bunch of slopes piled together, but I do think it ended up looking very aesthetically pleasing. And in here we hit the exact same connection point as we did in the main base. This is more or less what it looks like. The reason why this bit here is open is actually going to connect to the main base. It's going to have a two-way Technic connection because I placed in this piece. When we flip this around, Can barely tell that these things actually separate. If it wasn't for the black pin, I don't think you would be able to tell that that was a separate section. Remember Zane's Titan mech? Yeah, that one. It used sand blue in its color scheme a lot. That's not really something we see with Zane vehicles like ever, so let's copy that. When you build wheeled vehicles, always choose the wheels first and then build the chassis around that. Here are the wheels that I chose. I'm already incorporating some of that trans blue, and they're going to support a suspension function. These are the front wheels. We just have smaller tires. I'm also going to include a windshield piece, this little bubble thing. Let's also add snowball shooting stud shooters. I want to incorporate some of Zane's titanium ninja color scheme, so I took this silver triangle piece from a Nexonite set. I also want to give this a slight off-road feel, not much, so I'm going to give it this black bumper piece. I'd say it's time we built Zane. This is just the standard version, which comes with the shoulder armor, the sword piece, and the 2 shurikens, but all of his weapons are stored on the vehicle itself. Since the vehicle is going to be destroyed, he's not actually going to go in, so we can remove his hood and headpiece. I built this neck attachment thing that we're going to place on his back. We can slot on his hairpiece and place the hood here to make it look like the hood is flying off. For accessories, we're going to add ice elemental power effects because LEGO doesn't actually represent elemental powers a lot in the sets. Here's the base we're working with. I wanted to make it a very comfy interior for Zane, but I still added a couple of these control panels. We're going to place this whole back section, and here's where you're going to put Zane's golden shurikens. Now I'll also place this little sand blue topper piece to have a sand blue strip around the entire thing. Now we can then start tiling off the sides, and we're going to have secondary exhausts represented by these trans blue tiles. So this could be seen as its own escape pod. Something that I really like to do with MOCs. Give them stripes of secondary or main colors to make it look balanced. And now we can place it on the base. Place it in more than one orientation, of course. There's a lot of stuff under there, but there's still a large range of motion. So I think it's the other foot. So he's going to be fighting another guy off here. Our second Subaru Warrior is much the same as the previous, using instead a powered up face, another random hairpiece, and this stud shooter in gunmetal gray. One of the sand blue pieces that I have the most of are these wedge slopes. A couple other Easter eggs I added are some of these black popsicle stick pieces representing some mechanical work inside of the buggy. Let's place this silver piece on top to cover everything up. Throw on the wheels. And finally the bumper to give it a slightly more aggressive look, which we can now place. We have a fully functioning suspension. It's going to have a license plate. At the bottom, there's an exhaust pipe. A lot of the bodywork here involves these silver pieces. And then I also placed some more silver ingots, plus these silver exhaust pieces. We also have the spoiler, so we can place the fin on the back, and it kind of looks like a triple winged system. So let's flip this upside down and add the back wheels. These tan pins are going to be showing, and unfortunately there's really no way around that in this case. So let's attach the suspension block, as I call it, to its respective rock thing, and then to the main stand. So that was it for Ninjago Chrono-Dive Part 4. Today, we built Zane's Frozen Quad. It should cost about $40. Please like and share this video if you found it good enough to do so. And if you like this mock, please check out the instructions on Rebrickable. I'm sorry I haven't posted the ones for the last mock yet, and these will also probably take a while. I think I'm probably going to post them all at once at this point. I'm currently having quite a few time constraints, so these videos are coming out very late. So production on the next part will start right away. Thanks to everyone for watching, and bye, guys. You know when a mock just isn't working and you have to start over? That's the case here.